Yai dai 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 dai, yai dai da da, yai lai la lai lai ya la lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai la lai, yai lai la lai lai ya la lai lai, yai lai 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 dai da da. Yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 da da, yai lai 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 ya dai dai, yai lai dai dai dai, yai dai da da, yai lai da dai dai ya da dai dai. Yai lai dai dai dai, yai dai da dai, yai dai da dai dai ya da dai dai, yai lai dai dai dai, lai dai da dai, yai lai dai dai dai, lai 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 dai, yai lai dai dai dai, yai lai da dai. Yai lai la lai lai ya na dai dai. Shalom Aleichem Malachei Yasharim Malachei Elyon Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Boachem L'Shalom Malachei HaShalom Malachei Elyon Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Baruch Hu Ni L'Shalom Malachei HaShalom Malachei Elyon Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Tzeitzechem L'Shalom Malachei HaShalom Malachei Elyon Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
So actually, being a rabbi for a long time and having student congregations, you have all kinds of experiences. I even had a student congregation of all places in Joplin, Missouri. So anyway, there's a story about a farmer who he actually has a ranch with cattle, and he goes to church one Sunday, and he's the only one there. And the pastor decides, well, he made a trip all this way, so he does the entire service, the full sermon, everything. And at the end of the service, he says to the rancher, he says, so what do you think? Says, Padre, you know something? When I go out to feed the cattle and I bring my wagon full of hay, there's only one cow there. I don't give him the whole wagon. But it really is wonderful just being together for Shabbat. And This week, though, has been very challenging in a number of ways. And to begin, a prayer for those who suffered because of Hurricane Ida and because of the fires, California. God of heaven and earth, source of all, the storms have passed, the fire is still burning. Earth, sea, and sky all speak of your presence. The tempest has stopped, the tempest is still there. Thank you for the kinship of neighbors and friends as we work to clean up after violent weather. Bless those who are injured, help them heal and recover. Bless those who lost family and friends with comfort and hope. Provide food and clothing, warmth and comfort to all in need. Thank you for providing safety and shelter to those who made it out of harm's way. Thank you for emergency and rescue workers who keep watch and risk their lives for our community. We pray for the victims of any disaster, any violence, suffering, or despair. Blessed are you, our rock and our shelter. Amen.
Amen.
We continue on page 2 with candle blessing. And Carol, if you'd come to light the candles.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our life, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
We continue on page 20 with L'Chadodi. And every week it just brings me joy as we sing together.
Yalalai, lai, lai, lai. Yalalai, yalalai, yalalai. Yalalai, yalalai, yalalai. Yalalai, lai. Yalalai, lai, lai, lai. Yalalai, yalalai, yalalai. Yalalai, yalalai, yalalai. Yalalai, yalalai. Lecha dodi likra kalacha penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likra kalacha penei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor v'diburecha hishmianu el hamiyuchad. Adonai echad u'shmo echad l'shemo tiferet v'litchila lecha dodi likra kala penei Shabbat פני שבת נקהלה. לקראת שבת לכו במלאכה, כי היא מקור הברכה. מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי, שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלי נגלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. בואי בשלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצלה. תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי כלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
Remain standing as we open our hearts with the Baruch Hu on page 28.
Ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la la. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayers? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Baharech et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed, le'olam va'ed. Yadadai, 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 yadadai,
We open our hearts now with the words of the Shema as we witness the presence of God and love in our world.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed.
Please be seated, page 36.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, וחיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, וחיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. Amen.
These past weeks, we've watched the events in Afghanistan as the army of Afghanistan folded and as the Taliban took over the country. And with all of the discussion about military, I think we've forgotten, or we don't hear as much the discussion of what it means when the Taliban takes over. Malala Yousafzai from Pakistan, her story tells what it means. She was shot for wanting to learn. And these are words after she recovered that she gave in the United Nations, July 12, 2013, when she was just 16 years old. I don't know where to begin my speech, but first of all, thank you to God, for whom we are all equal, and thank you to every person who has prayed for my fast recovery and a new life. I cannot believe how much love people have shown me. Dear friends, on the 9th of October, 2012, the Taliban shot me on the left side of my forehead. They shot my friends too. They thought the bullets would silence me, but they failed. And then, out of that silence, came thousands of voices. The terrorists thought that they would change our aims and stop our ambitions. But nothing changed in life except this. Weakness, fear, and hopelessness died. Dear brothers and sisters, now it's time to speak up. So today, we can call upon the world leaders to change their strategic policies in favor of peace and prosperity. We call upon the world leaders that all peace deals must protect women and children's rights. A deal that goes against the dignity of women and their rights is unacceptable. We call upon all governments to ensure free compulsory education for every child all over the world. We call upon all governments to fight against terrorism and violence, to protect children from brutality and harm. We call upon the developed nations to support the expansion of educational opportunities for girls in the developing world. We call upon all communities to be tolerant, to reject prejudice based on caste, creed, sect, religion, or gender, to to ensure freedom and equality so that all can flourish. We cannot succeed when half of us are held back. Dear brothers and sisters, we must not forget the millions of people who are suffering from poverty, injustice, and ignorance. We must not forget that millions of children are out of schools. We must not forget that our sisters and brothers are waiting for a bright, peaceful future. Let us wage a global struggle against illiteracy, poverty, and terrorism. Let us pick up our books and pens. They are our most powerful weapons. One child, one teacher, one pen, one book can change the world. With Mi Chamocha, we affirm how we can change the world.
We are walking, we are walking, we are walking in the light of God. We are walking, we are walking, we are walking in the light of God. Mi chamocha ba'edim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar ba'kodesh. Mi chamocha ba'edim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar ba'kodesh. Nohora tehilot seifele. Nohora tehilot seifele. We are walking in the light of God. 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 We are walking, we are walking, we are walking in the light of God. We are walking, we are walking, we are walking in the light of God. We are walking, we are walking, we are walking in the light of God.
And now we feel the sheltering presence of the divine through Hashkivenu.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Leshalom Ve'echa Amideinu Shomreinu L'chaim Ufros Aleinu Sukat Shlomecha Ufros Aleinu Sukat Shlomecha. Guardian of life, the guardian of peace, keep us safe in the night. Shomreinu l'chaim. Guardian of life, guardian of peace, keep us safe in the night. Shomreinu l'chaim, Shomreinu l'chaim. Shomreinu L'chaim, guardian of life, guardian of peace, keep us safe in the night. Shomreinu L'chaim, guard the sweet soul of humanity. Please protect us under your great canopy, so we will feel the shelter of your love. Feel the shelter of your love. Hashkiveinu Adonai Eloheinu L'Shalom, Ve'echa Amidenu Shomreinu L'chaim Ufros Aleinu, Sukat Shlomecha Ufros Aleinu, Sukat Shlomecha.
Setting, it's done silently, and then the microphone turns on. And the tefillah is done silently and then is repeated by the reader. And from time to time, I'll be in places where a person holds their hands out like this as they're praying the words. And as we prepare for our tefillah, when we draw close to God, where we chant the first part and then pray silently, I'd offer you this meditation from a 10th grader. I believe the most meaningful part of services is silent prayer. I'll admit that at age 7, I took the 4 minutes of silence to look around the room and count how many men were wearing black yarmulkes. When I was 10, I sat on my dad's lap and braided the strands of his tallits. At age 12, I pretended to be a mind reader and tried to guess what everyone in the synagogue was thinking about while they closed their eyes and looked down. But over time, as I grew more knowledgeable about Judaism, I took this time to make my connections with God, shutting my eyes, listening to the beautiful sounds of the choir and cantor. I developed a relationship with God, told her my thoughts and feelings, and spoke to her as if she was a friend of mine who would never leave my side, always listen, not judge, and most important, would understand. Through prayer, I make myself heard. God is listening to what I say silently, and she responds to me without me knowing. It is the most meaningful part of the service because it connects me to her and lets her know my life, thoughts, and beliefs. We continue with the tefillah, beginning on page 46. Please rise in body, mind, or spirit.
Adonai, Sfatai Tifta, Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha. Adonai, Sfatai Tifta, Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha. Oh, eternal God, open my lips, that my mouth may declare your glory. Oh, eternal God, open my lips, that my mouth may declare your glory. Do not be dismayed by the brokenness of the world. All things break and all things can be mended. Do not be dismayed by the brokenness of the world. All things break and all things can be mended, not with time, as they say, not with time, but with intention. So go, love, intentionally. So go, love, extravagantly. So go, love, unconditionally. The broken world waits in darkness for the light that is you. The broken world waits in darkness for the light that is you.
As I walk through the congregation, let's find these words. Please, if you wish, out loud, we offer our prayers for Bill Slapin, Stephanie Levitt, Marilyn Greenwald, Marcia Margolin, Francie Karp, Leah Bat Gedalia Bat Vega, Tamara Gleck, Evan Bin, Lynn Ettlinger, Larry Margolis, Carolyn Orens, Susanna Arias, Robert Cullen, Robert Winchell, Mia Goldstein, Ken Brenner, Gary Verbin, Lynn Phillips, Larry German, Celia Harms, Rebecca Fraser, Marcel Fraser, Sherry Bernstein, Bob Gusti, Maxine Rogo, Gail Prince, Diana Petty, Perry Meskin, Steve Turkin, Morton Prager, Doug McCracken, Marcia Guthrie, Kurt Meyer, Linda Silvero, David Habib, Anna Tran, Linnell Bin, Jane Barker Hagen, Siegel Olga Bat Baruch Elkanan, Larissa Elkin, Carol Starr, Marion Fraser, Jeremy Kermit, Lev Herschel, Ben Batami, Suzanne Price, and Gary Nelson.
Do not be dismayed by the brokenness of the world. All things break and all things can be mended. Do not be dismayed by the brokenness of the world. All things break and all things can be mended, not with time, as they say, not with time, but with intention. So go, love, intentionally. So go, love, extravagantly. So go, love, unconditionally. The broken world waits in darkness for the light that is you. The broken world waits in darkness for the light that is you. The broken world waits in darkness for the light that is you.
Amen. Rabbi Nachman of Bratslav. In the Hasidic world, at the time of Rabbi Nachman, there was Chabad, which was the intellectual form of Judaism. There was the middle, and then there was Rabbi Nachman and Bratslav Hasidus. And at a certain point in life, Rabbi Nachman felt that people just weren't quite getting his Torahs, so he began to tell stories. This is a story from Rabbi Nachman. There was once a young person who wanted to be an artist, and so began to learn how to draw, and drew first with pencils and then learned how to paint. And of course, parents love a child who wants to be doing something creative. So of course there were lessons to draw, lessons to paint. As the child grew older, of course, I want to learn how to sculpt, lessons to sculpt. And then the child was sent away. I want to learn how to work with metals. And after that, the child said, if I could only learn to work with fine metals, with silver and with gold. The lessons didn't stop there. Finally, the child said, if I could just learn to work with precious stones. So off the child went to a lapidary. And finally, after all of these years of education, all of these projects, all of this art that was made that the child loved, the child then disappeared for 6 months into a workshop and worked, bringing all this skill together to create one work of art, to bring together all of the experience, not just of art, but all of the experience of living in the world, of traveling to different places. And finally, after the 6 months were up, an exhibition was held in the town center, and pieces of art from different points in the young person's life were displayed. And finally, everyone went to a hall, and there was a giant curtain. And with the curtain were rows of chairs. They were green, similar to these. And the young person told about the journeys, about all the different types of art, and then pulled the cord, and the curtain dropped away. And everyone gasped. This was a 7-branch menorah. It was so beautiful. People had never seen anything quite so beautiful before. There was a hush, and then there was a buzz. And the parents felt such pride. And then the exhibition was over, people went and had refreshment, and as they were having refreshments, one person came up to the parents and said, this was such a beautiful piece of art, you should be so proud, but, over there at the base on the right side, something looked a little off. And a little while, just a few minutes later, somebody else said, wow, I've known your child since youth. And it's so beautiful, but something there on the 2nd branch in, just at the top, is a little off. And so it went that people would come up, would praise the work, but maybe it was something on the far right, or maybe it was something in the middle, or maybe it was something on the foundation. No two things alike, but people found just this one flaw. And then, at the end of the evening, when everyone went, the parents were still basking in the adulation, they spoke to their child and said, "People so loved your menorah." The child was smiling. And the parents could see the child was smiling. And then the parents said, "But people saw a flaw here, and a flaw there, and a flaw there." And the child said, "It was never the same flaw twice." And the parents said, "Yes." And this young person said, "That is the gift of art that I learned. To take all of the flaws, put them together, and create beauty." I should stop there, and until this week, I had planned to stop there with this story. But I've been heartsick this week with the brokenness in our world. The fires in California and Hurricane Ida, which brought destruction and loss of life, the fall of Afghanistan with the specter of religious extremism, and the law in Texas which denies women reproductive choice and creates informants, which represents the worst of all repressive governments. But through the centuries, there have been movements to bring justice and compassion to the world. I've been to Selma and Montgomery. I've walked over the bridge that John Lewis walked over. And the fight for civil rights, the fight that was his story, the fights for women's rights, the advances in education and healthcare. And as there was brokenness in the world, we too have a charge to take the brokenness and bring wholeness. And on a personal level, this is a time when we reflect cheshbon hanefesh, and we can repair relationships, we can grow. One of my favorite quotes, which you're going to hear over and over and over again this year, is when Naomi Rosenblatt in Wrestling with Angels talks about what does it mean to be created in the image of God. And she says, being created in the image of an infinite God means that our potential for growth is unlimited. We have the opportunity to affirm the best in ourselves just at this moment. And then where there's disharmony, we have the opportunity to grow. And sending greetings to all of our friends who are watching via Zoom. The TV's on the other side this week, so I can't see you quite as well. But thinking of bringing the best of ourselves and bringing harmony where there's disharmony. And close with the words, our words really, of PTBE with which we end our services. Oseh shalom b'romav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru amen. May the one who brings peace to the heavens bring peace to us, to all Israel, all humanity. Shabbat shalom. And Roger, I'd like to invite you to come up and share announcements this evening.
Shabbat shalom. Lisa, were you the one who jogged in front of my car earlier today? I'm pulling out of the parking lot and this woman's jogging in front of my car, waving and waving. I'm like, she really doesn't want me to run her over. I see you. I'm like, oh, wait a minute, I know that person. That's, what's her name? I know. I just assumed you didn't want to be hit. So some reminders. High holidays, well, I shouldn't have to remind you about high holidays at this point. But yes, they're right on top of us. So if you ordered from Ladle and Leaf, you can pick up on Monday at 11 a.m. between 11 and 12. But my glasses are fogging up, so I can't read without and I can't read with them, so this is going to be fun. There's last call for the Scroll of Remembrance to have your loved ones included in the Yisker service. Please submit the names by September 8th. If you're attending in person, you must present your electronic or printed version of your ticket, and all family and guests have to be together. And the office will be closed for the long weekend, so, well, I'd say plan ahead, but it's closed now, so there you go. Let's see what else I can tell you that's coming up. Sukkot is coming up, shortly on the heels of Yom Kippur. So September 22nd to the 27th, we'll have the sukkah up. So feel free to come in and shake the etrog and the lulav while dining al fresco, which is the only way to do it really in a sukkah, right? So there's a sign up to bring your family and a picnic meal to the sukkah for lunch or dinner, but due to the safety precautions, of course, seating is limited, so it's first come, first serve. You've got an email from us about the Chai Giving Annual Appeal. I just want to reiterate how important it is. You'll be hearing a lot more about it, but we're trying to get 100% participation, whether you give $1 or $1,000. It's all good. It all makes a difference. We just want you to participate. It's really easy. You can go on the website and do it. You can write a check, or you can text HI to 80888. And I think that's pretty much all there is. And Kate is, oh, that is Kate. She has an addition.
Thank you. Just a last-minute addition. First, I just wanted to thank everybody so much for reading all the emails and the emails and the instructions and the emails and the instructions and the changes. I really appreciate it. I know everybody's really trying their best to comply, so thank you very much. I just want to let you know, everybody, so tell your friends if you're on Zoom, the office is closed on Monday. If Monday rolls around or Tuesday rolls around and you have tickets to come here in person and you decide not to, it's totally cool and okay. We're not going to be here to give you a Zoom link, but there's a really easy way for you to join us electronically. So go to the PTBE webpage. Right on the front page, there's a button. It says, Watch HHD Services Here. Push the button. That's all you need to do. Okay, so if you get stuck or your friends get stuck, no need to freak out. Just go to the website and join live. And I look forward to seeing you whichever way you join us. Shabbat Shalom.
We continue now with the Kaddish on page 294. This week, remember the Shloshim period, those who have passed away in the last 30 days, of Herman Lewin, Nisim Tieno, Jean Zemmel, Joyce Scher, Marilyn Rudy, Hannah Rubin, Boris Regent, Marcia Smith. We mark the yard sites of Leo Bernstein, Zui Cohn, Al Aaron, Michael Friedman, Betty Gagnon, Hilda Gorin, Richard Greenblatt, Abraham Grossman, Milton Haber, Laura Kam, Madeline Kaufman, Jeanette Cosin, Sidney Cosin, Leonard Leibowitz, Gary Lehman, Andrew Levitt, Helen Lewin, Rose Marcus, Max Montague, Bella Nelson, Charlotte Onhouse, Robert Real, Betty Rappaport, Henry Reingold, Fanny Rosen, Rabbi Sanford E. Rosen, Irving Samuels, David Schwimmer, Ramona Simpson, Shoshana Tolkien, Aaron Berseno, Harry Weil, Samuel Zwas. Are there others that we remember in yard site this evening? Please rise. At this moment, we especially think of all of those who have died through natural disasters in our world, through violence in the world, those with no one to remember them, those who have lost their lives to COVID-19, and those who have lost their lives in defense of freedom. In remembrance and in affirmation, we say the Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah, b'alma divrach irutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayachon of yomechon of chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, b'agala v'yizman kariv imru amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevarach elam omei omaya. Yitbarak v'yishtabak v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei t'kedusha b'richu. Leila min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechmata, Ram be'alma v'yimru amen. Yishlama Rabba min Shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom b'mramal v'chuy aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn, and comfort to the bereaved. Amen. I'd like to invite Cantor Oana to lead us in Kiddush and Motzi. You don't want to hear me sing. Everybody can join. What it is actually I have a trained voice, but if I started to sing, then people want me to do that in addition to everybody else, so simsum.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kishanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon chinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit Ki hu yom techila lemikrai kodesh zecher litziyat mitzrayim Ki vanu v'acharta v'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh ha-shabbat L'chaim. I'm not drinking. Okay. Rabbi, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. All right, well, I'm handing over the mitzvah of the grape juice and the challah.
I know two little ones who would like that challah.
You're right. Elijah only eats Irving's challah for some reason, so I'll take it. Thank you. I think we're going to have a lot of challah going on this week, so. All right. Should we sing a song on? Yeah. Sing it out. Hold on. Oh, say shalom, b'roma. Oh, say shalom, b'roma. Hu yaseh shalom. Hu yaseh shalom. Hu yaseh shalom. Alleluia. 1, 2, 3, sing it. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. Shabbat shalom. See you Monday. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, Alan, Jenny, Sydney.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, Carol, Neil. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
You want to do the
Shabbat
camera?
Shalom, Jenny.
Shabbat Shalom, Maria, and everyone.
Charlotte.